Hello, I'm Trish, and today we've got a practice that's going to focus on opening the chest and strengthening the back, and possibly opening the heart with a little bit of gratitude. It's a great time of year to think about what we're grateful for. For the practice today, you may want a block and a towel or a blanket. If you just have the towel or the blanket, that will be fine. So go ahead, hop on the mat, and let's get started. Okay, so we will begin today's practice in a comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you. And I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And we're just gonna center ourselves, focusing on the breath here for a moment, thinking about what it feels like to breathe in and what it feels like to breathe out. This is a great place to set an intention for your practice. If you can't think of one, I can recommend gratitude, since this is a great time of year to think about what we're grateful for. If you notice your mind wandering during the practice, don't worry about it. Just come back to the breath and come back to your intention without any judgment. So we'll start to bring together some movement with our breath here. So we'll go ahead and take an inhale together, and then exhale, bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Inhale, bring the head back to center. Exhale, bring the left ear to the left shoulder. Inhale, back to center. And then we'll go ahead and open our eyes. And if you've got that block or a little pillow or a blanket, go ahead and grab that and hold it out in front of you in between your two hands. And we're going to practice we're going to warm up the shoulders, which will also be practicing for correct alignment for our chaturanga later in the practice. So just hold the block straight out in front of you. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, bring that block straight into your chest, bringing your elbows straight back at 90-degree angles and hugging them into the rib cage, feeling that chest start to open. Then inhale, send that block straight out in front of you, straightening the arms again. Exhale, bringing the elbows straight back at 90-degree angles, bringing the block into the chest. Inhale, send the block straight out in front of you. Exhale, bringing the block into the chest. Inhale, sending the block straight out in front of you. Exhale, bringing the block into the chest. Inhale, block out in front of you. And then exhale, bringing the block into that chest one more time. So remember that alignment of the arms when we do our chaturangas later. Go ahead and set that block off to the side. And we are going to make our way onto our hands and knees in a tabletop position. And we're going to do some nice cat-cows to continue warming up the spine here. So go ahead and take an inhale. And then exhale, round the chin to the chest, coming into your cat pose. And then exhale, lift the head and the tailbone, letting that chest shine forward for cow. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, lift the chest, head and tailbone. Exhale, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, lifting the tailbone and the head. And then one more time, exhale, cat. And inhale, cow. Now we'll go ahead and come back to a neutral spine. And you want to have your shoulders directly over your wrists and your hips directly over your knees. Now we're going to send that right arm out at shoulder height. Then we're going to send the opposite, the left leg, back behind us with the toes flexed and on the ground. And you could stay here, or you could lift that foot up off the ground. And then you could stay here, but I encourage you to try bringing elbow to knee on an exhale. Inhale, straighten arm and leg. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, straighten arm and leg. And exhale, elbow to knee. I'll go ahead and bring that arm and leg back onto the ground. And this time we're going to lift the left hand up to shoulder height. Send the right foot back behind us with the toes flexed on the ground. Then lift that foot up off the ground. And then I encourage you to try exhaling, elbow to knee. Inhale, straighten arm and leg. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, arm and leg go out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, send that arm and that leg straight out. Go ahead and bring everything back down onto the mat. And now we're going to try something. We're going to just tuck our toes under and hover our knees just a couple inches off the mat and feel how that engages your core. Now go ahead and put those knees back on the mat. And when we say engage the core, bring the belly button to the spine, that's what that means. So remember that feeling. Let's try it one more time. Hover those knees just a couple inches off the mat, and then let them drop back down. Now we're gonna tuck the toes and lift the hips all the way back, all the way into down dog, and remembering that core engagement. So tuck those toes under, lift the hips all the way up, coming up into our first down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keeping that core engaged, press into the mounds of the hands. You could walk the dog here for our first one. And we'll hang out here for a couple of breaths. Being grateful for our body today. And on your next exhale, gently step the feet forward to meet the hands in forward fold. You could use some blocks here under your hands if you would like, if that's more comfortable. We're going to inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and overhead, taking a little back bend here, letting that heart shine forward. And then exhale the palms down by the side, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. So we want to have our feet hip distance apart and parallel. Bring that belly button to the spine to engage the core. And then we're going to inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and overhead. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands and step back to plank, the top of a push-up. You can be on knees or toes, yogi's choice. And then remember that block practice we did at the beginning of class. So you're going to inhale and rock forward, and then exhale, lowering, sending the elbows at 90-degree angles, lowering all the way down onto the belly through chaturanga. Then we're going to inhale and take baby cobra, lifting the chest. We're going to exhale, tuck the toes under, lift the hips, coming into down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Holding here for 3 to 5 breaths. On your next exhale, Step those feet forward to meet the hands. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and overhead. Take a little back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep those arms out to the side and overhead. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant the hands, and step back to plank, the top of a push-up. Inhale, rock forward, and exhale, lower through chaturanga. All the way onto the belly. Inhale for cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under, lift the hips. Come into down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Remember to bring the belly button to the spine to engage the core and press into the mounds of your hands. On your next exhale, step the feet forward to meet the hands. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep those arms out to the side and overhead, taking a little back bend. Exhale, hands down by the side, Tadasana. You may want to block nearby for this next part, so just set it at the top of your mat. And then inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, step the right foot just as far back as you can. And bring that knee down onto the ground. Coming into a low lunge. Feeling a nice stretch in the front of the back hip. And we're going to bring ourselves up. Bring our hands in front of our heart in prayer. And twist over your left leg, hooking the right elbow onto that thigh if it feels good. Just taking a little twist here. Then we're going to come out of that twist. Bring the hands on either side of the front foot. Tuck the back toes under. And come up to standing into a high lunge. We're going to bring our arms into cactus arms or like a goalpost. And then bring your your arms in front of you and hook the right elbow under the left elbow for eagle arms. You can bring the backs of the palms together or the fronts of the palms. A little bit of a balance challenge here. Then go ahead and just lift those elbows up a little bit and feel that nice stretch in the shoulder. Now go ahead and untwist those arms. Bring your hands on your hips. Rotate your back foot to be parallel with the short end of your mat, coming into Warrior Two. You want to make sure you can see the front toes over your bent knee. Press into the outer edges of your feet and bring your gaze over your front fingertips. Now we're going to straighten that front leg, preparing to come into triangle. I like to use a block on the inside of my front foot. So straighten that front leg and then hinge forward over the front leg, coming into triangle, placing your hand on your thigh, your calf, your ankle, the floor, or a block. Top arm goes straight up to the ceiling, or if there's any pain in the shoulder, you can bring it onto the hip. And we really want to think about rotating that chest open today. Being grateful for everything our body does for us. Now go ahead and bend that front knee. Set your block out of the way. Coming back up into your Warrior Two. Then we're going to rotate carefully the back toes to our high lunge. So both toes facing the front of your mat in your high lunge. And go ahead and bring both of the hands down onto the mat. Step back to plank, the top of a push-up. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, lower through chaturanga. Inhale, lift the chest for cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under, lifting the hips, coming into down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Then on your next inhale, step the right foot forward. And then exhale, bring the left foot forward to meet it. Inhale, sweep those arms out to the side and overhead. Exhale, Tadasana. Now we'll do that all on the other side. So inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and overhead. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Coming into forward fold. Inhale, step the left foot back. Coming into your low lunge, lowering that knee gently onto the ground. Coming up with your hands in front of your heart in prayer. And then exhale, twisting to the right this time, hooking that elbow on the front knee. Go ahead and come out of that twist, placing the hands on either side of your front foot. Tuck those back toes under, lift that knee up, and come up into your high lunge with cactus arms. Bring those arms in front of you. Go left elbow under right for your eagle arms. Then lift those elbows to get that nice shoulder stretch. Go ahead and unravel those arms. Rotate your back foot to be parallel with the short end of your mat. Coming into warrior two, making sure you can see those front toes over your knee and bringing your gaze over the front fingertips. Now we'll start to straighten that front leg, preparing to come into our triangle on this side. Hinging forward from the hips, over that front straight leg. Bringing the top arm up to the ceiling and opening that chest. Go ahead and bend that front leg. Coming back up into your warrior two. And then carefully rotate your back toes back to your high lunge with both toes facing the front of the mat. Exhale, planting the hands on the mat on either side of your front foot. Bringing that foot back to plank, the top of a push-up. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, lower through chaturanga. Inhale, lifting the chest for cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck those toes under, lift the hips for down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And we'll hang out here for a few breaths. On your next exhale, step the feet forward to meet the hands in forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and overhead. Exhale, bringing the hands down by the side for Tadasana. Now we're going to go ahead and move our weight into our left foot. Place our hands on our hips. And then just bend that right leg behind you. And then maybe reach down and grab that right foot with your right hand. And then maybe send that left hand out in front of you. And then I encourage you to try coming into the dancer's pose today by kicking your back foot into your back hand. And we'll, as gracefully as we can, come out of that. Shake it out. Place our hands on our hips. Bring our weight into our right foot this time. Bend that left leg behind us. And then maybe reach down, grab the left foot with the left hand. Maybe you stay here, but I encourage you to try dancers on this side. If you fall out of it, that's okay. It's just like life. You'll just come back in. No big deal. So you can send that right hand out in front of you and then begin to kick that left foot into the left hand. And then go ahead and come on out of that. Shake it out. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and overhead. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, coming into forward fold. Place the hands on the mat and step back to plank. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, lower all the way down onto the belly. Okay, so now we're going to practice locust. So go ahead and bring your forehead down onto the mat. Legs long, down on the mat. Arms down by the thighs with the palms facing up. We're going to inhale, lift the forehead off the mat, and then lift the feet off the mat too. Exhale, lower down. Now bring the arms out in a T with the palms facing towards the floor. And we're going to inhale and lift forehead, arms, and feet. Exhale, lower. This time, bring your arms out in front of you like Superman. And inhale, lift the arms, forehead, and feet. Exhale, lower. And now we're going to practice bow pose. So we'll start coming up into Sphinx pose. And we're going to do half bow first. So bring your left forearm in front of you, rest your weight there. Bend your right foot, right knee. Reach back for the right foot with the right hand. And then begin to kick that foot into the hand, lifting the chest. Exhale, lower. Now we'll switch, resting on our right forearm, bending our left knee. Reach back for the left foot with the left hand, and then kick that foot into that hand and lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Now we're going to try full bow. If you prefer to stay with half, that's fine. We'll do it twice so that you can switch and get one more in on each side. But I encourage you to try full bow. So go ahead and bend both of those legs and reach back to grab both feet with both hands. And then kick the feet into the hands, lift the chest, keep your gaze at the ground. Exhale, lower the forehead down to the mat for a moment. If you're doing half bow, go ahead and switch. And we're going to inhale, kick those feet into the hands, lift the chest, gaze at the ground. Exhale, lower down Forehead to the mat. Let the feet go. And then you can rest your forehead on your hands here in neutral for a moment. And then go ahead and bring those hands by your side and push back to child's pose. You can have your knees wide or together, whatever's more comfortable for you. Thanking yourself for all this hard work you're doing today. Then when you're ready, use the strength in your arms to push yourself up and come into a seated position with your feet on the floor in front of you with your knees bent. We're going to practice a little boat. We've done a lot of strengthening of the back just now, so we're going to strengthen the front a little bit. We are going to still think about keeping our chest open and our back straight. So you want that heart to shine forward. So we'll start here with our hands under our knees, under our thighs rather. And start with lifting your right leg off the ground. Exhale, lower it. And then inhale, lift that left leg off the ground. You could continue to repeat rotating legs. I encourage you to try lifting both legs off the ground, remembering to keep that back straight and that chest shining forward. And you could stay there, or you could try letting go of those legs. See how that feels in your boat. One more breath. And let it all go. Okay. So, the hard work is done. We're going to relax now. Come down to lying on your back. You're going to want to have your blanket or your towel nearby. You can bring those knees into the chest and rock them back and forth. That feels good. And then we're going to take our arms out to a T. And as you exhale, drop the knees over to the right side, taking a nice twist. You can bring your gaze over to the left fingertips if that feels good. Letting gravity do the work here. And thanking the earth for supporting us. Go ahead and bring your head back to center, and then bring the knees back to center. Take an inhale, and then exhale, drop those knees over to the left. Maybe bring your gaze over to the right. If you do have any pain in your right shoulder, you can always bring that hand to the rib cage. And you could always put blocks or blankets under your knees for support. Bring that head back to center, and then bring your legs back to center. Go ahead and bring those feet back onto the ground and the hands by your side. And now we're going to try a little supported fish pose. So this is where you're going to want that blanket or that towel. And you can also do this with blocks, but we're going to hang out here for a minute, and you probably are more likely to have a blanket or a towel at home. So you're going to want your blanket or towel folded kind of like in a little long shape. And you're going to want to put the top of your blanket or towel in line with the bottom of your shoulder blades. So that'll look a little something like this. And you can have your legs straight out in front of you like this. You could bring them into a bound ankle. And this should feel nice, opening of the chest here. And we're just going to relax here for a moment, thinking about everything that we're grateful for and feeling this opening in our chest and lungs and savoring it. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. It turns problems into gifts, failures into successes. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Gratitude makes things right. So you can start to think about how you want to be comfortable in Shavasana today, our final rest. You can stay here in fish pose if you like it, or you could remove the blanket or the towel and come into a traditional Shavasana with your legs long out in front of you, letting the feet flop open, with your arms down by your side, with the palms facing towards the ceiling. And we're just going to focus on our breath here. Again, feeling what it feels like to breathe in and what it feels like to breathe out. Maybe remembering our intention of gratitude. Thoughts will come and go. That's totally fine. Just let them float by like leaves in a river and just come back to the breath. So you can relax here for a few moments. I will mind the time for you. Gently begin to bring your awareness back to your breath, back to your body, and back to this room. Bring gentle movements into your fingers and toes, and your wrists and your ankles. And then when you're ready, roll onto your right side. Take a breath there. And then use the strength in your arms to push yourself up to a comfortable seat. I want to thank you all for joining me in this practice today. And you should be grateful to yourselves for all of the hard work that you did and for just showing up. That's the hardest part. We'll bring our hands in front of our hearts in Anjali Mudra prayer. We'll bring our thumbs to our forehead, reminding ourselves to always have peaceful thoughts. We'll bring our thumbs to our lips, reminding ourselves to always speak kind words. And we'll bring our thumbs to our hearts, reminding us to always have love in our heart. Namaste.